Climate Fellowship training is Opeyemi Ogundeji. She is an impact-oriented professional with a strong track record of leading transformational programs at the intersection of youth empowerment, climate action, and impact entrepreneurship. She holds a master's degree in ecology and environmental biology from the Premier University of Ibadan, wow, Nigeria, where she developed a strong scientific foundation that she now combines with deep grassroots experience to co-create people-centered, sustainable solutions to systematic development and challenges. Over the past 5 years, Opeyemi has worked across the nonprofit and development sector, successfully designing, managing, and collaborating on the delivery of multiple high-impact projects across several Nigerian states, supported by both national and international partners and founders. She is currently building the Emergence Purge into a go-to community for empowering young Nigerians to become self-aware, purpose-driven, and impact-oriented leaders for positive community transformation. Previously, Opeyemi served as program manager at Nigerian Youth SDGs, do you see? And as a head of learning and impact at Susty Vibes, wow, where she led the implementation, learning design, and resource mobilization for impactful youth-focused initiatives. Lastly, guys, Opeyemi's professional interests span programs and project management, training and facilitation, partnership and development, research and policy advocacy, recognized by platforms such as Afro-Climate Vanguard, Corporately NG, and the HOG initiative. She remains committed to addressing global development challenges, amplifying youth voices, and contributing to a more inclusive and resilient future, particularly for marginalized community. And there again, guys, we have our first facilitator for the STEM4CLIMATE Fellowship. And let's give a round of applause and appreciation and excitement to have such a person in the room. Imagine that portfolio and what will be poured inside of you as we learn today. I'm just excited for every one of us. I'm also happy that I'll be here and I'll be learning. So thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Opeyemi, for coming on board to be part of this program. We sincerely appreciate your time, your wisdom, and of course, the knowledge you'll be sharing with us. Thank you so much. And of course, I'll be stepping out and handing over the mic to you. Thank you, Opeyemi, and welcome to the STEM4CLIMATE Fellowship. Ciao.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Thank
morning.
you so much for the introduction. Can I confirm that everyone can hear me?
I can hear you, although
I
it's
can
that
hear
your
you.
volume is low. I don't know if it's from me.
What did you say?
Although your volume is low, I don't know if it's from me, but then I'm trying to amplify mine to see if it's from me.
Can another person please confirm?
Okay, good. I can hear you now clearly.
Yes, I can.
It's clear now.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
please, at any point in time that you can hear me again, kindly drop in the chats
Sure.
so that I'm aware and I'm not just talking to myself.
Yeah.
So good morning once again, everyone. And thank you so much, Rita, for the warm welcome. I truly appreciate that. And also, I would like to appreciate the founder of the STEM4CLIMATE Fellowship, Iniantai, for the invitation as well. I truly appreciate that. And it's just Imi and I got to know each other when, what year was that? I can't remember. That's unfortunate.
It was 2023, I think, during British Commission.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much for reminding me. I can't remember the year, but I knew that it was at the first back. That was the first time we actually kind of like met. And I've seen what she has been doing, right? And it's just so beautiful to see, what she has been able to achieve over the years. And because I remember the kind of conversations we had that time, it was basically talking about our career and how we are exploring to see how to move forward from there. And I'm really so proud of you, and I'm really grateful for the invitation. And I'm happy that you're doing this. As in, I'm really happy that you're doing this. Congratulations to you and all of you that are actually onboarded into this fellowship, because I know what she's going to bring to the program in order to ensure that you actually have what you need in order to actually kickstart your journey in the sustainability space, irrespective of where you're coming from, irrespective of your background, right? Because even me personally, I actually have a science background, right? That's core biology. I mean, she has already read, Rita had already read my profile. So my BSc was in zoology, right? And for my BSc, I actually specialized in hydrobiology and fisheries. Then for my master's, that was where I actually focused more on ecology and environmental biology. And then I now moved into the sustainability space, and I'm currently also running a program in sustainability studies. So that's just to show you that you are limitless, right? And you can achieve any and whatsoever thing you actually commit your mind to do, and also to show that it is also good to network horizontally, because most times you always say, oh, people who are already doing something up there, yeah, you always want to go for them. But it's just okay for you to actually connect with people that are with you right now in this fellowship, because you never can tell who is going to go have a, to do more, and you never can tell who you will be needing to collaborate with further later in life, right? Imi and I met since the three, like she said, and now she's inviting me to come and facilitate this session. So I'm truly appreciative of that. And there are so many scenarios like that as well that I've actually um you know collaborated with my peers to actually achieve something. There was also a particular story like that. Beyond we talking about climate change and um, what's it called, SDGs, I just need to set this background just so that you take this fellowship seriously, because these are like the kind of community that you kind of like need in order to be more accountable to yourself, and to also be able to achieve more, because you cannot actually achieve more when you move as an individual, right? You can achieve, but you cannot really achieve that much. I remember when I was working with NGU SDGs, we had a project we're supposed to lead for youth employability, yeah, and everyone on the team were like, oh, I think one good organization to work with on this project is just so it just makes sense that we work with Jobama Nigeria. I mean, when you're talking about job employability for young people in Nigeria, one of the first organizations that you mentioned is Jobama Nigeria. And I remember everybody saying, oh, with Jobama respond to us, how are we going to get them to collaborate, all this and that. And I just thought about it like, okay, wait now, cannot be bad. I should not know anybody in Jobama. And I just went on LinkedIn, and I was trying to scroll to my connection. Like, oh, who is the Joba man I actually know? So I went to Joba man. I checked the people part of the Joba man this thing, and that was what I saw. So when I served with in Akwa Ibom, is actually the youth engagement something, maybe lead or manager or something. I like this is my person now. Even though we've not spoken for like years, do you understand? But I mean, I'm not a bad person. If I'm a bad person, I'm not good. It will not invite me to come and facilitate the session as well. So you're like, no, Jumon should be able to respond now. That's why I just went to my WhatsApp and I just messaged him, Jumon, we have this project and I need you guys to come on board. I was like, oh, shoot me an email. Before you know, I felt like a star in my team anyway. They're like, oh, Okoye knows people. I'm like, oh, it's just my fear. Do you understand? So it's just to point to I really, really enjoy like collaborating horizontally. Like I really do. Before you can see me actually networking vertically, like looking up. It must really be that maybe I really want to learn some of the systems or structure that person is using just to, or maybe I really admire what the person is doing and it kind of like fits into the picture of the kind of person I want to be, and I do not really intrude. I just get to put myself in their faces so that one day when I need to actually message them, it's not be like a strange name that is coming into their DM. So this fellowship, right, which I believe that is also going to work in creating it to becoming some sort of network, right? I'm just like encouraging you to actually get active on it, make yourself known, so that later on, when you reach out, when glory reaches to goodness will not say, where do I know this one from? But you'll be able to get reminded that, this is my fellow STEM for climate fellow now. So, and you collaborate and you get to this. And I also understand that there are some part of the fellowship that also has the project component, which you'll be collaborating and working together. So please and please do engage effectively. So back to the session now, as I have given you background story and everything. So once again, thank you, Ine, for having me. So let me know if you can see my slide. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, I'm sharing my screen right now. Can anyone see my screen, please?
Yes, it's up.
Yes, ma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let me try and put it in slideshow. Yeah. Is it in slideshow here? It's not. Okay, is it in slideshow yet?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. All right. So, once again, good morning, everyone. And my name is Opeyemi Ogundeji, as Richard rightly introduced. And the topic for today is actually introducing us to climate change and the sustainable development goals. And sorry, introducing us to climate change and the sustainable development goals. Hope I'm not echoing.
You are, ma.
Oh, Jesus. I'm coming in a minute. Okay, so that means I will not be able to see the chat box. So in case there's anything being dropped. So please,
I've
Rita,
got it
you can
for you.
just help me note that.
But then it's not echoing now.
Okay, yeah. So that's because I
It's
actually left via my second device. So
Oh, I see.
yeah.
All right.
So in
I'll take
case
care of it.
anybody drops anything in the chat, I might not be able to see. So please
Yeah,
help me. Yeah, take notes. Thank you. All right. So we are going to be talking about, basically, I'm meant to introduce you to climate change and the sustainable development goals. And my name is Opeyemi, as Rita has already introduced. Let me set a timer, please. And also, this is who I am. I'm not going to go too much into it. A minute, please.
We can't hear you anymore in case you are still speaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So this is who I am. So I believe in God and all that. Like I said, I had my master's degree in zoology, and I'm currently running a PhD in sustainability studies. And this is the year of experience I actually have in the NGO sector. And these are some of the work that I've actually done. My work are basically focused on sustainability, youth empowerment, and impact, basically impact and social entrepreneurship. So these are the objectives for our session today. I was asked to actually ensure that my session helps you to understand the fundamentals of climate change and also help you identify key climate challenges we have globally and locally. And in terms of locally, we'll be speaking in the African context, because I understand that it is not only Nigerian young women that are in this session today. So the locally will be more like Africa. So, and also to help you recognize the role of SDGs in climate action, and also to help you differentiate between what mitigation and adaptation strategies are, and then kind of like overall, this session is sort of like inspire you to begin framing your climate solutions within your respective fields, right? And start thinking of what you envisage, as solution of for climate change issues as an individual and also collectively, not providing climate solution based on the fact that, oh, this is what people are doing and I think this is where I'm going to go, but actually from the place of conviction and based on the knowledge that you've received that, okay, no, this is what I think I am capable of doing and this is what I'm going to do. So that's that. So before we start, I would like you to actually take this do this exercise. I would like you to kindly, can we scan, or do I need to drop the link also in the chat box? Let me drop the link as well. So please, let's for people that can scan, please scan and drop and start dropping your responses. I would like you to actually take this. I want to know what your perception of climate change is. I don't want to assume that every one of us here will really believe that climate change is a thing. I have people in my network, right, that do not really believe that it's a thing. So be genuine, be honest. You don't have to follow. Yes, so let me drop the link now. Thank you. Wait. All right, I've dropped the link. Can we all see it? I need us to respond. Can we all see it? Okay, give me emoji. Okay, okay.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
So I want to know what's our perception. What's our perception of climate change? Because again, some of us are coming from different scientific field. Yeah. So I think I saw on LinkedIn that some people are from engineering. People who are actually coming from biology should actually have some basic knowledge. I want to believe, but I do not want to assume what your perception will be. So what's your perception? Let's respond. Let me see what our responses are like. Are we responding to that or we are not? So if you've responded, please drop in the chat box that you've done so that we know how far we're going. Okay, so we can see some people's response. I can only get 2 responses yet, so I need us to respond, please. You have to be genuine and honest as possible. So some people are saying, someone said global warming, someone said it's real. So what's your perception? I want to believe that we are active students, so please respond. Okay, by perception, I'm saying what's your opinion? What do you think? I don't know if perception seems like a very big word. Like, what do you think about climate change? What's your opinion about climate change? When you hear climate change, what comes to your mind? Oh, these people's way of collecting money from us. Oh, this is where the world is going. You know, that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, you personally, what do you think about it? We have how many people in this class? So, and I'm only seeing 3 responses. If we're starting
Yes,
with this
it's
kind of
compulsory for. Yes, please, it's compulsory for everyone to respond. Like everyone is compulsory.
So
Please, guys, it's
if I'm
compulsory.
seeing only 3, our coordinator has
I
spoken.
don't find the link, ma. I think you should resend it.
Oh, okay. Let me do that. Sorry. Oh, you can as well scan. I've sent it again. Yeah. Thank you. Rita, thank you. So
Yeah.
because if we are not responding,
One,
how
two,
will I
three,
even
four.
start? I want to know what I'm
Five,
coming to meet and be genuine about it. Honestly, I like diverse opinion. You don't have to be anybody, just be you. So I'm very big on being yourself. So it should be self-aware enough. Okay, still three responses that I'm seeing. If you're having issues,
But do you want
issues
to your browser? Because I've seen a lot of people saying they've submitted.
submitted. Okay, let me let me
People
let
have
me
said that.
refresh. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I would also like us to make use of the chat box. I think Mentimeter is having whatever they are having because I can still only. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, even though I would have really loved for us to have these responses documented on it. So we can make use of the chat box, please.
Okay, how
So
many
let's
do you have now? Because a lot of them are saying they've submitted.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's showing three at the moment, and I wonder why. So
Oh,
that's why I'm recommending that we make use of the technology, I guess. That's what we have sometimes. So we can you can just copy and paste what you had previously said. Okay, I can see Khadija's response. And for the three other people, okay, so climate change. I'm asking, okay, so what I'm seeing as our response is more or less like we are defining climate change. I am not asking you to define it. I'm just asking you to tell me your perception about like your opinion. So like what you think when you hear the word, what comes to your mind? So that's what I'm asking us. Perception. How do you perceive climate change? How do you perceive the word climate change? So I can see our responses. Thank you. Glory and lovely miracle. Okay, so miracle is saying that our perception is that climate change is real and mostly different driven by human activity, right? Okay, so faith says dying planets. And Lovely said damage to our environment. These are good responses. Lovely also said global warming. Glory said climate change is the change in causing crazy weather patterns, rises and affecting. Glory, can you tell me in simple terms what the perception is? Also, Khadija is saying it refers to as significant long term. So this is more like a definition. Khadija, I would prefer that you tell me what your perception particularly is, not what you define it as. So um okay, so Victoria is coming from another angle. Is saying that climate change is consequences. So what we've given is what we are getting. So meaning like we are getting punished. So Victoria, that's interesting view. So Gift said, I see climate change as the effect of our daily activities on the environment over time, the way we live, dispose waste. So she also Gift and Victoria, they are coming from the same theoretical point of view. So yeah, basically, I like what we are giving. Goodness says perception is that human activities affect our climate and every area of our lives. So basically, every one of us had actually shared our view in one way or the other, which I sort of like appreciate and like, right? And speaking on these things that we've actually shared, we said what I'll be starting with the view of Victoria and gifts. It said, "Is what we give out, is what we get." There's this theory, is it law in physics? So people, okay, we are hot science today. The law that says, is it reaction, and I've forgotten what was that law again? That says whatever there is.
Newton's law of motion. For every action, there's equal and opposite reaction.
Jesus, thank you. Who said that, please? I can't see my
Goodness.
screen. Who is that?
Goodness. Goodness.
Thank you, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I would like us to actually come in from that angle. So, and that is where we are actually riding. We are going to be riding from. I truly appreciate all of your responses so far regarding what you think about climate change, right? And even some people that even tried, they've gone ahead of us by defining what climate change is for us. So, and we all know that, no, don't let me, we all know that humans, right? We're actually, we're actually taking different actions, we are doing different activities. But whatever the activities we are doing, or we are actually putting out, are we really thinking of what the consequences are? Just let me set an illustration. You slapped someone now, and you are thinking that the person should not slap you back. Like, you do not have power over what that person is going to do to you. You do not have any power over it. And the person slap you back with an intensity that is higher with the one that you gave. Because I remember when you're playing, sometimes when we're younger, when you're playing with your friends, and you're laughing, and you just eat that person, and just say, yeah, and the person will now come back, so the person now do their own back, and I say, I did not even eat you like that. Like, you don't have power over the way that person eats you back. So I want us to picture climate change in that way. We as humans, we have actually been doing different things. Majorly, it has been recorded that the major cause of climate change is actually based on human activities. Those, and that we call it anthropogenic activities. So humans actually contribute a whole lot to what we are experiencing now, whereby we are not saying that, oh, okay, this is climate change. And these activities actually range from different things. Burning of fossil fuels, which the most, building new houses, we cutting down trees, basically we want to build houses, or even building industries. We are not saying that all of these things that we are doing, they are no good. I mean, for any nation that will develop, all of these activities need to take place. But when we do that, are we putting in mind that, okay, when I do this thing, do I know the extent at which this thing is going to come back at me? Like, have I weighed the and that's why they do something called environmental impact assessment, social impact assessment, just to weigh the consequences. Like, okay, if I do this now, if I actually cut down all of these trees in this particular location, like, to what extent is it going to harm the people, the environment, every other things that actually that actually houses life. Do you understand? In fact, including the planets, because I mean, right now we all are living on planet Earth. So whatsoever activities we're doing as humans, do we all keep considering that what is with what intensity is this going to come back at me? If it is just that I actually just dropped a sachet of pure water, the sachet for a pure water that I've actually taken, I just dropped it on the floor. Another person who comes, drop it on the floor, and this thing accumulates. Have I thought about how it's going to come back to me? So that's how I want us to picture all of these things when it comes to climate change, basically. And climate change is just, two words, climate and change. And simplify it as the change in climate. And the change in climate is something that actually shifts over a long period of time. You cannot say that we are talking about climate change basically because of what has happened this year alone. No, it is the accumulation or summation of everything that has happened all over the years. And that's why most times when they are actually assessing or evaluating the impact of climate change, most times they actually do the counting from more like a decade, backwards. So just to say, okay, what has happened all over this number of years, usually 10 years actually. So, and then beyond. And actually, when this concept sort of like started was around the 1800s, when it was industrialization was beginning as a thing, and humans are actually burning fossil fuels, building industries and everything. And when it really became an issue of emergency, like a really call for alarm or crisis, was around the 19th and the 20th centuries. And it was around that time people started hearing climate change, and you started hearing about Friday for futures or something like that. And then you say, oh, young people are coming because they are clamoring for change and saying that, yeah, you are building this thing, but again, you need to start thinking about our lives, because we cannot just keep on living like this, because the environment is not as conducive as what it used to be before, because people understood that it was because of some of these things that we are doing. Those were the things that are actually contributing to this factor. Me, for an example now, I did agricultural science in secondary school. I can remember clearly and vividly when my agricultural science teacher was teaching me then in secondary school. He actually categorized Nigeria to have two seasons, wet and dry season. He told us particular months when rain are supposed to fall, which is particularly defining the wet season. He also told us when what's it called, dry season is supposed to happen, where there is no really much rain. And he was saying that, oh, you have to target your planting towards wet season, basically so that you can grow your crops. But right now, when I was in secondary school, that was about how many years ago? So I finished secondary school in 2020, what again? 2010, 2011, right? So that time, it's not even that much, like just far away. It's not that much like that. And look at what is happening right now. We cannot really decide that this is when rain is going to fall, or this is when rain is not going to fall. If we are really observing, you will see that these are the issues and consequences of all of the actions that we had actually put out as humans. Now, do not get me wrong. It does not mean that there are no other causes of climate change, like the natural causes, when sun's activities and, there are natural disasters, although the UN said hazards are not what they say again. It's not a natural disaster. But again, like I'm talking about normal health reaction that is not really prompted by any or induced by human activities, like large volcanic eruptions and all those kind of things, right? Those ones, they also happen, but they do not contribute to climate change as much as human activities. So that's what I want us to get. And I've actually included some links for us to actually kind of like go back to, read and also enlighten ourselves the more. So I will share the PPT slides with Rita, and she can as well get it across to us. And so this is the summary of whatever I'm trying to explain to you, since that climate change is actually the change in the climate or our weather patterns over a very long period of time. The shift in the temperature, the shift in our climatic conditions over a long period of time. And they are basically being caused by both natural causes and anthropogenic causes. Anthropogenic is still the same thing as human causes. And these human causes, I have categorized, like cited some examples of those human actions or activities that could actually lead to it. And the one for natural, that's what you can actually see. So you can ask this also more or less like a pictorial representation of this conversation as well. When you are going in your car or in your buses, your buses, actually your cars emit, your agricultural activities, landfills as well, they emit gases and all. So the summary is all of these human activities, they actually emit gases, right? And these gases, they actually go into our atmosphere, right? And this is what this part, the greenhouse effect, is trying to actually explain to us. So that all of the things that we are doing, ranging from converting our forests to agricultural farmland, intensive agriculture, or your waste disposal like our landfills, or industrial processes, or you want to build houses and you're cutting down trees, or your transportation emitting, all our, even our power supply, like our energy generation in our houses, every one of us generates energy one way or the other, right? Your waste, your sewage tanks, or everything, it emits gases. Like, just think of anything that emits gases in your house. So basically you're emitting those gases. Even you as an individual, you also emit gases. So you're emitting gases and all. So all of these gases, actually, they are what we call, most of them that are actually detrimental or lead to climate change, they are what we call greenhouse gases. So they are specific. These greenhouse gases are specific. You know, we have carbon dioxide, we have the methane, that's CH4, for people who are actually in chemistry, from chemistry background. So we have the chlorofluorocarbons, right? We have those ones, you can get them from your freezer, from your fridges, you know, those ones. We have the I've mentioned methane. So all of these gases, right? I think they are about 5 now. I don't have the exact number in my head. So all of these gases, but in these links that I've included in the slide, you can actually the links will lead you to some of those pages with the specific gases. So these gases, when they actually get emitted, right, in amounts that is so much than the how will I say it now, than the atmosphere required to, I'm explaining it in the simplest form for you, that the atmosphere is able to actually hold, then it comes back to us, right? Just think of it like a glass house. So in a glass house, you have gases being trapped, right? When the gases are being trapped for over a long period of time, right? It gets to an extent whereby it actually becomes so high, right? In the kind of the heat intensity, and then it actually becomes, it makes that kind of environment so unconducive for whatsoever thing that's actually been camped in there. So there is a, normally in nature we're supposed to have greenhouse gases, like it's supposed to be there in order to help us regulate our environment and all. Because if we do not have it, it might actually, the planet might actually be too cold for us to live in, right? And because it is just there in a minimal, like in the amount that is good for us, that's why we are here and able to live. We are not frozen, right? We are not becoming iced up and all. But when it now becomes so much in an amount that is too much for us to hold, that is when we now started experiencing what we call the global warming, and everything started getting out of proportion. And someone that mentioned global warming earlier, right, when they hear of climate change, the person is very much on track, because we now have the temperature of the planet is now becoming, you know, higher than what is expected to be, or for it to actually for us to actually live in. And that's why we started having so much heat waves. You know, the heat wave we have right now, when you think about when you're younger, you might not even remember having any record of heat wave or anything, but right now is even more consistent and persistent, in the sense that this year we've recorded heat wave. If I'm being right, yes, we've recorded heat wave, especially for people living in Lagos, right? Anyone who is living in very industrialized community, you know, they would actually talk about it, because, you know, the gases being emitted is just too much for the environment or the atmosphere and the planet to actually be. And mind you, this thing is not really about Nigeria alone. Like I said, the climate change, okay, I've not mentioned climate change is a global phenomenon. So whether Nigeria is emitting so much greenhouse gases, or whether Nigeria or Ghana or is emitting so much gases or not, it affects everyone all over the globe, because we all are sharing one single planet. So if Nigeria decides not to emit that much, the fact that other countries are emitting a whole lot and it's affecting the same atmosphere we all are making use of, then you'll be partaker of it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Please, if we get, are we all in this class? Let me know if we are following me. Can I have our responses? Let me know if we are following me. Okay, all right, thank you so much. So I can see our emojis. Thank you. So it's not a matter of, oh, Nigeria is not even emitting that much or not, and you will later see it in some of my comments later on. And this is it, right? This graph, this map here is actually for 2021 I couldn't get the latest what's it called? The latest greenhouse gases emission by countries. I couldn't get, so this one is for 2021, and China was actually reported to be the country with the highest global emission, followed by the United States, India, and you can see that our country, Nigeria, okay, for Nigerians, your countries are not there. Your country is not there. Ghana, and we are talking about African countries now. You can see that African countries are not even on the list. Oh, we are feeling it. We are feeling it. It's affecting us. So it's just to show you that climate change is not an issue of they're just trying to use it, because I've heard different myths about climate. Oh, they're just using it to collect money from global countries and everything. Oh, global staff are just using as a means to just follow the global and everything. No, it's not. So even though we are not contributing to greenhouse gases to that high extent, we are actually feeling the heat. And these are countries with the lowest greenhouse gas. But right, I read that they actually make use of 100%, is it pure energy or clean energy, or like their energy is purely hydro is it hydropower or something. Now you can read about it. That country is actually said is like it has the lowest greenhouse gas emission, right? And basically they said it could possibly be because of industrialization is not that high in the country, and also it's just like a very how would I say, it's a developing country like that is not well industrialized as other ones in the topmost emitting countries. So for us, what are we going to say? What do all of these climate issues, what does it mean for us, right? Firstly is the issue of the global warming, which I actually previously mentioned. And global warming has actually resulted into different kind of things. It's just every consequences. Victoria, thank you for the English. So every consequences that we are feeling today in our environment, either environmentally or socially, right? Most of them actually tied to global warming in one way or the other. Think of young people who are having a mental breakdown. I'm speaking from experience now. It is mental breakdown. I remember there was a particular heat wave that happened in Lagos one time like that, and my productivity as work was so reduced. Like I couldn't move, as I was not as productive as I thought I'm supposed to be. Basically because like there was so much heat wave that year, and anytime I just open my system to work, I'm just so tired. I feel so dizzy. Like, and this as a person, I love experiencing code than it, because code, I feel like I can still control code to an extent. It's not just look for duvet, wear cardigan, double up and everything. But it's like you will just be pouring water on your head, on AC. And if you put on AC, to buy power now is very, very expensive. You have to be targeting it and everything. So that's to show you that global warming is attached. It was attached to my mental, mental health, like how I was feeling mentally, how mentally active I was, and also productivity at work. Do you understand? That's one way to look at it. Also, food security. Now, I'm already talking about global and African climate challenges. Global food security. If you read online, that's one area that people are really talking about now. Food insecurity. Nigeria as a country that's been reported that we cannot even really meet up with our needs of food production, because like there's really food insecurity in the country. Yeah. And that is basically because there has been very unpredictable patterns that now the area we are looking at is climate smart agriculture. Like how they can really engineer all of these things in order to ensure that we are able to meet up with our food production level and ensure that there is food security. Right? And basically it's because global warming again, the other patterns are changed. Don't forget, I mentioned earlier that in secondary school, my teacher told me that wet season in this period, this period. For now, we cannot even guess like when it's really going to rain. And even if it's rain, sometimes it can even rain so heavily, actually destroy farmlands. And we'll see issues of crops being damaged and everything. Do you understand? Or it will even be so hot to the extent that crops do not even grow. So then we'll have food insecurity, right? Or another one of it is, it will rain so heavily because the weather again is unpredictable due to global influencing it or driving it in a way based on our human activities. We'll have so much flooding, right? That people's houses will be displaced, properties will be destroyed, so many things will happen. And basically, it's just to put to you that the reason why you're having this fellowship is because there is a need to be met, there is a gap to be closed. But you need to understand all of this basis first in order for you to see how you come in as a person, and also to make you understand that irrespective of the background that you have or wherever sector that you're coming in from, there are ways that you can actually create or co-create solutions in order to help us address this issue that is affecting both people who have the capacity to withstand it and people who do not have the capacity to withstand. And what hurts me the most is because people who actually face this challenge the most are people who cannot really how will I say it, really adapt or become resilient towards it. Now you go to coastal communities, you see people, their sources of livelihoods being destroyed. I remember when I was living on Lagos Island, that was even the first encounter I had that made me to actually go into the sustainability sector. I experienced flooding where I was living. I actually moved from where I was living to Lagos because I was looking for better opportunities. I do not used to live in Lagos, Nigeria. So, and when I got to Lagos, that was the first time ever I would see so much intense flooding. As in, it was so bad, right? That the house I was living, it is tiled though. That house was tiled. But water was coming from the house, like the roof was filled with water. I was so surprised. I'm like, I've never seen this kind of thing in my life before. Like, everywhere was flooded. To move around was a problem. We couldn't get water to use. We had to be buying water. Like, now think of people who do not even have money to buy water. I was able to get water or buy water because I have the money to buy water. There are some people where I was living that buying water is even the least, like is the least on the things their needs, the things that they need to get. Because firstly, they need to even get food or even get where to sleep. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to go to a friend's place to go and see, because of course my house was also displaced, like the house was flooded. Some of my stuff got spoiled as well. Do you understand? So there are people who cannot afford that. There was a time that I also had we had a project like that. I was sort of like involved focus group discussion, and also it was actually spread across African countries as well. And a woman who was working with vulnerable groups, particularly the women, was telling us, sharing in the session about how women who were displaced, right, they were being raped. You can see the interconnected, if the interconnectivity rather, that the interconnection between all of these things, basically because they had to sleep in places they did not have to sleep in, and they were being raped. So do you understand? Like, you can see how everything is just attached. So it's just to show you that irrespective of where you are coming in from, there is always one way or the other you can come in. So now I would want us to briefly answer this. In your own community or in your own personal life, yeah, or in your sector, even though I wrote personal life, in your sector, in your community, how do you think global warming has actually impacted whatever you're doing? I want us to quickly respond to that based on everything I've said so far, right? How do you see, or thinking about it now, yeah, how do you think global warming has actually impacted your personal life or your community or even the sector you're working in? I would like to actually read our personal, what's it called? I want to know what's happening all over. Okay, so Faith, thank you. Faith said that, there's flooding everywhere. Yeah, it's like, have we all noticed that almost every year now in Lagos, there's always a record of flooding, which is actually very unfortunate. And I think that's one area I'm trying to also explore, especially for my program. Yeah, especially in coastal community. Yeah, faith said flooding. Goodness said eat. Goodness said eat. Sleeping with fan is an issue. Without a fan is an issue. And God help you, there is no power because we also have energy issue. So, oh, glory, thank you. It said just stepped us to get something and the sun is almost blinding our this thing. Could you believe that there was a course I did in doing my master's, environmental mutagens, right? And I got to learn that the sun, because of UV, like all these gases again, it's sort of like affected how everything is being. I want to use the right word. So much that the UV rays that we get could actually alter people's gene. So, and then it gives them some kind of diseases that or sicknesses that you do not even emphasize for them to have, right? And if you notice, especially people with albinism, if they actually go out, yeah, the UV rays actually sort of like affect them. And no, not think of the fact that the heat is now more now. You can see how terrible it has become for them. So these are like also some kind of vulnerable community and groups as well. I'm talking about people with albinism, right? So severe droughts in my area. Wow, what area is that? Drought. I do not hear drought as often as flooding. That's interesting. Ahead. During sex, someone fainted because of it. Yeah, I fainted too because of it. I guess what is it? So it's bad. That's why I hate it. I hate it. I so much hate it. Like I wish there is this text, but we need it anyway. Yeah, so Miracle said air quality getting worse on hot days. Yeah, and all of these are just tied to the things we are actually talking about. Thank you for everyone who has shared. Um, I I am happy to see. I'm happy to see her thoughts on that. So going back to our slides, yeah. Um, I would also like to show us that this is from Global Center on Adaptation, right? And this is their record on climate-related hazards and their impact on per region in Africa. You can see, let's look at flooding. For Eastern Africa, I don't know if there's anyone in Eastern Africa on the call. Let's look at flooding now, because of course me, I'm interested in flooding. So look at the number of people that were affected by flooding, like 990,000 people between the year. Like look at the months, it's just 10 months or between. Okay, no, that's about January 2021 to September 2020. That's a year and 10 months. It's not even up to 2 years per se. So look at the number of people that were affected by flooding alone in Eastern Africa. And for Central Africa, look at it. People who are from West Africa, right? We had 393,000. Fair enough. Even though it's not really fair again, because I mean these are lives of people that we are talking about here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until 1,000, and not only 100,000, about 300. So this table is just to show you, the issue that is on ground. Now, so what about the SDGs? The SDGs, in case you hear SDGs, for people who do not know about SDGs mean Sustainable Development Goals. And in its simplest form, it's basically goals. As individuals, you have for your personal goals. That, in this year 2026, these are the things I must achieve. But think of SDGs in that line, that these are the goals that all countries came together. Not 193 countries came together, UN member states. Yeah, they came together and say, globally, when we go back to our respective countries, these are the goals that we all are going to be using. We have adopted in order to ensure that our country and globally we are able to, achieve sustainable development. And sustainable development in the sense that we are able to, ensure that there is peace and there is prosperity for both our people and the planet, and also for the future. So that even right now, when we are living our lives and everything, people who are coming in the future, they will also be able to still enjoy the same peace and prosperity. So just see it as the compass or as the blueprint for 193 countries to say that this is what we are going to be using. These are the goals that will be targeting for us to ensure peace and prosperity in for the people, for the planet, and for the future of our nations and the world at large. So that is how I can simplify the definition of SDGs for you. And we have about 17 of them. So they felt like these are the things that are very critical to any nation's development and very critical to global development. So and for that purpose, we are going to be focusing on ensuring that there is no poverty, or there is zero hunger, all of those things. And also, each of these goals, they have targets and they have indicators. So targets means that by so year, let's say goal 1 says, oh, no poverty. The target under goal 1 will be saying that no, let's use SDG 13. So SDG 13 says climate action. So these are, according to what I've been told, these are like the key SDGs that are actually called to the STEM4CLIMATE Fellowship. SDG 7, which is affordable and clean energy. And the goal under SDG 7 says to ensure access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable and modern energy for all. SDG 13 says to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. SDG 11 says to make cities. So when they ask you that what is SDG 13, what SDG 13 is, what goal 13 is to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. So that's the goal. The goal is not climate action, even though the placard has climate action. The goal is that, oh, as a nation, as an individual, I must take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. Or if you say you're an SDG 7 advocate, then what you are telling us is that as an individual, you are taking action to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. And also, if you say you are an SDG 12 advocate, you're saying that I want to ensure that there is sustainable consumption and production patterns. Now, whatsoever thing you are not taking as your action, you must ensure that your action is actually directed towards this target and indicators. I did not put indicators here, but these are the targets. Indicators are basically to show that, oh, just like, in science, pH indicator, right? If something is it red that is acidic, or which one? Oh yeah, science student, please tell me. So I can't remember now. It's been a long time.
Red is acidic, blue is basic.
Okay, which one is acidic? Red, right?
Red, yes.
Oh, I tried. So now, pH, thank you. Who spoke? I can't see.
Goodness,
Thank you so much. It's like you're my co-tutor for today. So red is acidic. The pH indicator says, oh, when you see red, you know that, oh, this thing is acidic. So that's the same thing for the SDG indicator. When you see the indicator, you'll be able to determine that, oh, we are achieving it, or we are closer to it, or well, we are far away from it. And also the beautiful part of it is every year, each country or each member state, I said we have 193 UN member states. In the UN system, countries are regarded as member states. So we have 193 countries that actually adopted this. So every year, each of these country member states are actually supposed to submit reports. Nigeria has SDG reports. You can look online for it. They have SDG reports. I think they released one last year. Yeah, they have, even though it's such an interesting report. I actually went through it. So you can check it out as well. And on the UN's website as well, you will see actually annual reports for the SDG as well, to see that, oh, these are the ones that we are close to achieving. These are the ones we are not close to achieving, or we are far away from. So those are what the indicators will help you to see. Now, the targets will be what you are supposed to be focusing your attention on. Exactly. So you've already said that, oh, you as a person, you are very much interested in SDG 13. So then that means that you are saying that you want to take urgent action. Your goal as a person, your goal as an organization is to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Then your action must be aligned towards this target, meaning that whatever you're doing must actually strengthen the resilience and adaptive capacity of climate-related hazards and natural hazards in your country or your state or your sector. You must actually integrate climate change measures into your policies as an organization. You will see right now, organizations are being asked to submit sustainability report, blah, 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 making use of the SDG framework, ESG framework rather. And you will see them saying that, oh, as an organization, even though we know that we are emitting this thing, these are some of the actions we have also taken to combat, urgent action we are also taking to combat climate change and its impact. So that's how it works. So we have the goal, we have the targets, we have the indicators. So I want to believe that we understood the differences now and how it flows into each other. So now that we've defined that, we've spoken about climate change, we've spoken about SDGs, and we've spoken about how to define our actions in order to promote climate action, right? So we must also put at the back of our mind that whatever actions we are taking can actually be categorized into mitigation or adaptation. And just as the name, mitigate, it means that you want to avoid, you want to push that thing back. Do you understand? You don't want it to happen. Like mitigate, just think of it in that line. So an adaptation, just like adapt. So it's a combination of two words. Adaptation is just like, oh, what can we do in order to live with the consequences that we are currently experiencing, right? Or mitigation is, oh, what can we do to ensure that there are no more issues that actually come up from this particular thing that we currently see that is happening again. Do you understand? So it's more like I've explained here. I'm just trying to simplify it for you to understand, not basically reading what is on the screen for you. So this is also a tabular this thing that I've done in order to help you put it into perspective. So let's say we have increased flooding now. If we want to take any solution or measure towards it, we can say that, oh, we want to address the cause, we want to mitigate by, ensuring that our mangroves are actually being protected, because nowadays when you go to Lagos now, wetlands everywhere. There is a reason, because I took a course in university doing my master. It's called wetlands. The course is wetlands. There is a reason why we have wetlands, but now we are turning wetlands to dry lands. So it's interesting. So yeah, because everything in nature, they all have their significances, and they all have their significance rather, and the reasons why they are there. But when we start re-engineering them, and because of our own needs and everything, there's a way again it comes back to us, like Victoria said, consequences. And like the law, don't forget the law. There's also always equal and opposite wherever reaction and action. So you always get that back. So if you now want to mitigate it, then we need to go back to restoring our mangroves so that it can help us take carbon dioxide from the air. Or we need to even start planting back so that we have enough. We have the air is being purified, because we know one of the benefits of trees is that it purifies the air for us. So if we are saying that there are too much greenhouse gases and everything, so can we go back to ensuring that we? Oh, sorry, please give me a minute. My device is running low. I need to plug it. All right, thank you. So my time is almost up. So, and we are close to finishing actually. So this is just to show you that. So even also increased flooding, we say we are having increased flooding and everything. What about if mitigation? What about we going back to planting our trees? Because again, we know that trees also serve as windbreaks, right? They also purify the air, and trees need carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is one of the greenhouse gases. If it can trap that for us, then it's a win-win situation for us. So can we go back to that? But adaptation is saying that, oh, people are experiencing flooding. No, can we start ensuring that the way we are building houses is so much elevated, the way we are constructing our drainage system, the way our drainage system is being is currently is so much open, it's not clogged with waste, and that's why you see some states they will give early warning system that please be informed though flooding is coming at a certain period of time. Oh, then ensuring is basically to let you know that, oh, start clearing your drainage system so that when it happens, you can really adapt, you can really live with the consequences. So I put this tabular form for you to order in order for you to understand what the differences are by giving specific examples. So now as an individual, you are coming from different backgrounds, you're coming from different sectors. I have said all of those things, all of the current issues, because me as an individual, it's not, I don't like people talking about problems. So what can you do? And so what? Like, yeah, we've discussed this. So what next? So, and this is why I've actually listed this for you to kind of like genuinely respond to it. Like right now, as a person, right? What would you say in order for you to kickstart this your journey in sustainability space, especially addressing climate change issue, right? What exactly will I say are the three words that define me or describe me? Would you say you're really a very passionate person about this issue, right? Would you say you are really someone who is dedicated to this issue? I'm using words to describe myself now, because if you're not really passionate about it, like passion is more like the best base. Do you see most of us that are actually in sustainability space? It's because we are interested or we are passionate about it that we are in it. I believe that most actually, especially people that I know, right? It's possible that some people go in for the money, but it's not enough, because when you go in for the money and not for the conviction that you have in order for you to make action, at the long run, it kind of like become burdensome and overwhelming for you. So don't think that, oh, because this is the new area that is trending right now, that is why I'm going to go into it. Then that's going to be a very wrong motive and conviction for you to go into it, and it will not help you in any way. In honest part, I'm just telling you, like, basically, I have lived it, I have experienced it, so I'm not really in that regard. I mean, for anything in life, of people are doing it, you always know what the consequences or repercussions are always. So what would you say through was describing right now, especially when it comes to talking about climate change, and what are the skills you have as a person? Now, me personally, when I wanted to start, I told you I finished from zoology, right? Specialized for my BSc, specializing in hydrobiology and fisheries, because my undergraduate thesis actually focused on hydrobiology and fisheries, basically food sustainability and all. So now, when it happened to me, what did I do? I looked for organizations to volunteer with that basically focus on environmental sustainability. And when I started volunteering, that was when I actually started picking up some skills. One of the skills that I actually picked up at first was project management. And because I have project management skills, it has actually helped me all over the years, right? And additionally, I now went to school to get a degree in ecology and environmental biology. And it was very relevant and useful for me in my role at NGU SDGs, because I was basically the only one on the team at that particular time with environmental and climate technical expertise, and that was why it was even easier for me to be the project lead on a project that was actually funded by the Federal Republic, the embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany in Nigeria. Like, it was really a very large scale and complex project, right? Talking about me having to deal with about 15 youth civil society organizations, about 10 or 12 youth innovators, having to deal with them based on the peculiarity of their organization and also the states that they're actually working in. So you have to actually define the skills that you have, that you believe that you can actually use in taking urgent action to combat. That's the goal. That's your goal. You want to take urgent action. So you have to look for the skills that define that. And when you do certain things, what do people thank you for? Right? I discovered my, and I also ensure that I make that together. So in your community now, what's that climate problem? So for me, I've already spoken about flooding being something that actually, inspired me, and it's still the same thing I'm actually still continuing my research in, right? So what is that problem? Is it waste? Because I already told you that all of these things are interconnected. So even if it is waste, even if it is mental health, yeah, as Saucy Vibes, just Saucy Vibes I even got introduced to when I was working with Saucy Vibes, I got introduced to that, where the nexus between climate change and mental health. Saucy Vibes actually does a lot of work on that, especially in young audience. So there's always a marriage of both, irrespective of the sector. So that's why you have to identify what's that particular problem. Even if it's like I mentioned also when I was citing the story earlier, is it also women harassment or rape culture or something? You find that balance. Oh, is climate change leading to women being sexually abused or gender-based violence? There are so many research online about gender-based violence and climate change. So just look for that particular thing you're interested in and how you can marry both of them together. And what SDG address that solution, right? What targets are each of those SDGs have their target, like I've explained, and then you look for them, you look for the targets, and which of those targets interest you more, and you know that all of your skill sets can actually target it and actually bring about sustainable solution. And you can now start defining whether you want to make it mitigation based, you want to address the exact cause, or you actually want people to be able to adapt. Me as a person, I've seen that this thing it will take, because are still developing over time. US has even put out of the Paris Agreement. I mean the whole climate change stuff and they are one of the highest emitter as well, and they have even pulled out of it, right? So I, as a person, I actually decided that what I'm mostly interested in and project I've done and led are basically towards adaptation and resilience. I decided I'm going to focus on adaptation and resilience. Do you understand? So you have to also decide that yourself. So in conclusion, I would say that even though Africa actually contributes less to the greenhouse gases, Africa is still one of the most vulnerable continents to climate change. And we all have actually also said that earlier. Most of us have actually responded by saying earlier about the different ways that is affecting us in our personal life, in our professional life, and even our community as a whole. But like I said, SDGs is one of the global framework, one of the policy that has actually been given for each country. Nigeria is part of the UN member states. Ghana, I want to believe they are part of the UN members, or you can check whether your country is part. So check for that. But I know for my country, Nigeria is part of the UN member states, and that's why we actually take most of actions that we take based on that. So look for that SDGs that you as a person, individual, or even collectively can use in order to target it. If it is SDG 7, energy, do you understand? If it is whatever it is, even if it is food, zero hunger, whatever it is that you want to. So look for how you can marry both. And my question is just going to now be that what action are you going to be taking as an individual or collectively as a cohort, in this fellowship, in order to ensure that some of the target, because what is bringing us together I think the focal SDG that's bringing every one of us together, even though we know there are other SDGs under this fellowship, is the SDG 13, which is that we want to take urgent action towards climate change. So thank you very much for your time, and I truly appreciate the time spent with you. So I would like us to respond to this question, and before we go for question and answers. Thank you. So kindly help me respond.
Yes,
Yeah.
can you copy and put in the chat box too?
Okay, thank you. I will do that.
All right, thank you.
And we can also drop in the chat box as well. Thank you. For people who might have issue, so let me stop sharing. Thank you so much. So we can drop our questions and yeah, over to you. Please.
Okay. All right. Okay. While we are answering the
Sorry,
questions,
I
I
just
was
saw
just
Faith's
listening.
response. Sorry, I just saw Faith's response. She said she didn't know there was money in commerce. There is.
I see. I mean, that's part of the reason why we're here. You're going to discover all of that. But then I hope the money is not really the interest.
Exactly. You should not be
My,
the.
yeah, we need to save our world first.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, Obe. I mean, we're still answering the questions, right? Yeah, Faith, I see that. Yeah, we're still answering the questions. I don't know if responses are coming in. Obe, can you
Yeah,
check?
I want to check. Yeah, I want to check.
So please, everyone, click the link as you did at the beginning of the session and drop your responses while we round up. So while you are doing that, I also know that you can engage the emojis and let's show appreciation to Obe for pouring in and sharing from her wealth of knowledge. I was almost becoming envious. You led that project? That's what I was saying in my mind. Do you see? So let's appreciate her. It's a privilege to have to learn from people's years of experience and accumulated knowledge. And then these people sit down and they're just giving it to you at no token. The appreciations are not enough. Is it because of the questions we're answering? I can't even see the buzz. I can't see anything. And we're not going to stop unless we don't want to end this meeting. We're not going to stop until I'm satisfied, until I'm sure that you've given her all the accolades that she needs and that she deserves. In fact, not even needs, deserves. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Sincere appreciations to you, Obe. We are happy to have you. And I would say that it's a very, very insightful and educative session. I'm sure that we are all, I mean, when we send feedback from, we're going to get responses and we'll share with you so that you see the level of impact you have made through sharing your knowledge and talking about the topic. Thank you so much. Okay, now while we're still answering that, it's time for Q&A. So if you have questions you want to ask, we're still here, so you can unmute on. I mean, first raise your hand so that we don't have a rowdy. So if you have a question, okay, I can see you, Glory. I can see you, Ife. Please, if you have questions, kindly raise your hands so we know how many people. All right. Two of you. First off, before we go into the question, have you all dropped your response to the menti.com form? Have you all dropped your
Yes.
response? Okay, how many do you have? Is there's one in the
Oh,
chat
I
box.
have 5. Yeah, I have 5 now. No, I have 6
That's not
now.
enough.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
6 plus the
yeah.
one here 7. No, let's wait till you have good number of response. So please, who is yet to drop? Faith, Ife, Miracle, Glory, the two glories
I've dropped.
you have. Okay, so let's do it how we did it last time. If you've dropped, say done in the chat so that Opeyemi can confirm. If you have dropped, just type done here. Let's do it as we did it last time. Okay, Doran, Glory, Ife, Loveline, Florence. Okay, that's how many people out of 30% here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 5 people. Who's yet to drop? Miracle, you are yet to drop. Um, Faith, you are yet to drop. Who else? Okay. Okay. Khadija, I do not think I've seen you typed on both at the previous one and this one. Elias, okay, please can you drop your responses. Happiness. Olamide. Opeyemi. Onare Opeyemi. Okay, so that's fine. Osas. Rejoice. Sekina. Okay, good. Opeyemi. Esther and Victoria. So how many people has dropped? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's keep it coming, guys. Okay, so while you are on it, we can take the questions now. Over to you, Glory.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
So,
Well done, and a very big thank you to our facilitator. I think I know a thing or two about climate change, but you brought a very understandable and um, fun way to explain climate change and all that. So my question is, from actually what you said, so you are talking about the wetlands and the drylands. So my question is, I don't know if I'm being too forward, but don't you think that these lands that, especially in Lagos, especially on the island, that is being sand filled, do you think it has like a 95% negative impact on the houses that are being constructed? Like for instance now, there is flooding and we don't know what will happen by next year or by next 2 years, whether the flooding will increase or not. So do you think the government should continue with this sand filling of wetlands into drylands?
Okay, so oh, do you want me to respond to Glory, or we should take all of the questions together, Rita? How do you emphasize that?
Opeyemi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know. Can anyone hear me? I was asking if you want me to take Glory's question, or you want us to take all of the question all together.
Okay, I mean, which do you prefer?
Okay, let me take Glory's question so that nobody's question get lost along the
Yes,
way.
exactly. Exactly.
Oh, okay. All right, Glory, thank you so much for that question and for your kind words as well. So what I would say is, when I was talking as well, I said there's something we call EIA and SIA, right? And if you remember, there was a particular video that went viral once, and when one news, is it news correspondent? I don't know what they call them. She was asking a question, right? She was directing a question to one of the governmental official that time, that, oh, did they conduct EIA for whatever they are doing? There is a reason why there is environmental impact assessment and social impact assessment. The social part is how whatever activity they are doing is going to affect the humans in that particular community. Why the environmental
Mm,
impact assessment is going to be the one that will assess whatever impact that thing is going to be on the environment. Now, I will not say that the government should continue doing the sound feeling, or they should not continue doing the sound feeling. I remember a conversation I had with one of my cousin, right? And we said he was trying to bring a perspective to me about the fact that, do I know that whatever action the government is taking, most times they are taking it based on whatever the macroeconomics or the political arena is saying, whether it is now good or bad, right? They are the ones that can actually decide that, because I do not work in the government sector, right? But the
mm,
question we can always ask, and the action we can always take as individuals who are not in the government parastatal, is that, are the necessary and important steps in order to ensure that this thing does not fire back to us, are those steps or those precautions, are they being taken? Did they do any environmental
mm,
impact assessment that says that, oh, this thing is not going to affect the people that are there? Because you know that they actually reclaimed the land, they sent away some people from those places and all. But like, can we wait? People that they sent away, living not to have places to live, or not to have sources of whatever sources of income again, are we leaving them just for them not to have anything to fend on again and become wherever they become? and maybe indirectly increasing crime rates in the country, right? So the question we can be asking them is, or the advocacy we can be leading on, is ensuring that did they ensure that they are asking the right questions? Did they take in all of the relevant factors to ensure that whether they decided that it is good for us, the country, to be reclaiming this land? Because we know that in science, it is not okay for us to be reclaiming lands. Like wetlands are there for a reason. Actually, there are lands that are supposed to be there that in case of flooding, they are the lands that are supposed to absorb all of these waters. They also have ecological organisms. They have organisms that they are housing, that they actually have the work that they are doing in the environment. Nothing in the environment is actually useless, including the cockroach, including people don't like cats. Cats is in the environment for a reason. Like every organism or animal in the environment are there for a particular reason, in honest facts. Because if you ask veterinary doctor, or you ask, I'm a zoologist, so I know what I'm saying. Even lion that is aggressive, they are in the jungle or in the wild for a reason, right? And that's why it saddens my heart. Animals are going to an institution that you might never get to see them again. That's why we have the IUCN red list, and they say, "Oh, these animals are threatened. Though, don't let us ensure that none of they do not go into extinction. Let us protect them and all." So it is just for us to ensure that we are asking the government the right question: that do they know whether that this action that they are taking is not going to impact the environment? The consequences, are they not going to be higher than whatever they are doing right now? So that's just what I would say. I'm not going to say whether it is good for them, because based on my own science knowledge, reclaiming land is not really okay, because wetlands are there for a reason. But there are cases that you might have to do that. So when you are doing that, I will ask you that, did you ask the right question? The EIA that's supposed to be done, the SIA that's supposed to be done, were they done? And do we think that it is not okay for us to move forward, and not just us taking action based on, oh, we just feel like it, and just say, oh, we are no more rich as a country, let's go and reclaim the land. That's the next thing. Or, oh, this morning we just feel like reclaiming the land and just sending people away. No, it should not be based on that. Yeah, that is was to be my response. I don't know whether that clarifies your question.
Yes, it actually did. But sorry,
Okay.
my last question. Okay, so you made mention of EIA and the rest of that. So I work
Okay.
with a consulting firm, right?
What did you
We
say?
do EIA. I said I work with a consulting firm.
Okay.
We do EIA, peer and the rest of that. But I don't think we as consultants, like generally, do the right EIA, because judging by what EIA is, naturally, socially, economically, okay, economically it can be beneficial to the country, but
Yeah.
environmentally, socially, and the rest of that, it is not beneficial. So I don't think consultants they're actually feeding the government what the government wants, without actually doing what is right in EIA.
Okay, so what is not the question? What's the question? I can hear your concern, right?
Yes,
Which
yeah.
yeah.
No, I feel like if more climate activists, or if more SDG activists can, I don't know if it's possible in this country, I don't know, but I feel like if they can speak up more, for them to kind of reduce this feeling of land, because I'm really concerned about the people that actually can build houses there without looking at the long-term effects of those houses.
Okay, so Glory, I like your concern, right? Personally, it's something I'm also worried about. But again, we need to also I remember we need to also think about it in this way, that it's about weighing there's something in economics. Is it opportunity cost or something? Like you are weighing which one should be prioritized and which one should not be prioritized, which one provides more value than the other for us, right? So, and for building houses, I know that Lagos State has a rule that says if you want to build house, you must leave a small clinical for farmland, and also even though it's not everybody that is doing it, and it's also okay. Right, I think they said if you cut down one tree, you're supposed to plant two. I don't know whether it's a policy or something, but it's something that used to be popular at the time. I don't know whether they are really doing, people are really doing it right now. So the concern or whatever recommendation I will give as a person is basically that we as individuals, firstly, we need to bring to the attention of people in authority what our concerns are, keep talking about it, because it's because we are talking about it, that's why people are getting to know more about this issue. So keep talking about it. Do not feel like your whatever you're saying does not matter or it does not work. You'll be surprised to see that it actually does. And also, when you're actually put in a space where you can also make a change, you try as much as possible to actually effect the change. And also is that if we want to develop as a nation, there are some things that would need to be done, right? In my climate change governance class, we were told that should we keep burning fossil fuels or we should not burn fossil fuels since other countries are burning fossil fuels. So these are like the questions we need to ask. But we need to also now ask ourselves that which one do we need the most? And if we are doing it, are we ensuring that we are not bringing about one solution and causing millions of problems from another solution that we are actually bringing to the fore? So I think that's how I would like to express my thoughts concerning it.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Glory.
Okay, thank you for that response, Obe. The next would be Ifeoluwa. Ifeoluwa, please kindly unmute.
Okay, good afternoon. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh. Okay, thank you to Opeyemi for the presentation. It was just more information on climate change and better understanding on climate change and the SDGs. So to get into the question, I think closer to the beginning of the presentation, you spoke about how industrialization basically was the major cause of climate change. And so my question, well, it's not just one question, but let me start with this. It's all my question is basically focused on finding balance, right? So how would you advise for Africa currently to balance industrialization with sustainability? Because well, in the I think second slide or so that you showed, most of the countries or the countries contributing the least to global warming were countries that you said or pointed out to not be very developed. So if, let's just say, development would be synonymous to industrialization, so that would mean not developing would help better with climate change or sustainability. So how do you find that balance, especially in Africa? Because right now we're still a developing country and, well, we're looking to grow or get better. So how do you find that balance, basically? Do we not industrialize and develop? Basically the balance, because I know we have to do some industrialization, but how do we find it?
Yeah, so this is a very, very interesting question. And it's one question that I ask a whole lot. Like I personally, I ask a lot. And I'll go back to the climate governance class that I was in. And it was focused on this as well, balancing development and industrialization, and also the aspect of climate finance, right? And I remember that I'm just going to take you to the class, and I remember that it was really a very serious argument in class that day. Our lecturer was just looking at us and was saying, "Okay, everybody has their opinion." It was such an interesting class. I actually loved, just listening to people talking about different things. And we started by saying that the US, who is actually one of the major funders for all of these climate related and sustainability issues, has actually pulled out. So Now, Nigeria, where do we get our funding for in order for us to even adapt or mitigate all of this impacts that is even happening to us at the moment? And our lecturer was like saying that, we always waiting on funding is like we are begging for money, like it gives the beggar vibes that we should, and people start talking and it's because we are not developed. Everybody say okay. So I say, hey, okay, now let us burn our fossil fuel very well now, so that we too will become. You don't even know that these people are sustainability students. So it's like, let's burn our fossil fuel very well. At least US has burn their own. They are developed. So let us burn our own very well. And so that we can have the funding and everything. But from everything I could pick from everything that we're saying in the class, what I would say and summarize that as and give as a response to you is that we need to develop as a country. Like there is no two ways about it, because we cannot continue depending on other countries for help or in order for us to run our home, because like Nigeria is our home, right? So we cannot keep depending on developed countries, because we need to get to that stage whereby we can stand on our own, right? So now, what are now the measures that we can now put in place for us to now ensure that we can both develop and still be sustainable as a nation? Is now some of the things that were discussed is the fact that number one is that can we ensure that while we say we need to burn fossil fuel, can we ensure that there are also other strategies in place that sort of like also reduce the emission? And that's why the issue of carbon credits, I'm not really vast in that, right? The issue of carbon credits is coming up now that okay, the countries that are not burning as they are supposed to burn, can they actually exchange their credits with other countries or companies? And also the fines and the taxes that are being put on organizations and countries, right, that are actually emitting so well, so that all of these funds can all be put together in order to develop some other sectors that can, do you understand, that can give us more sustainable solutions. So it's like, how will I say it now? It's like removing 6 to put 6 so that everything can be balanced. Do you understand? So we cannot do without actually removing. But when we are removing, can we actually do in such a way that we still balance it back? And one conference I attended, someone was talking about lithium mining. I don't know if you've heard about it now. Lithium is not the thing people are now still going for now, mining it and everything. And they said, okay, if we finish mining, can we ensure that all of the places where it was mined, can we ensure that we cover it back and leave the land like for fallow for like years, apply manure, fertilizer and everything, so that soil will not become degraded and it will not be useful again in the future? So because when we mine the lithium, like we'll get funds from it, right, in order to develop. So all of those things that are actually leading to emissions and all, we need to ensure that when we are doing that, we are actually now putting other structures in place to take them out, so that we are not just what is happening or what has happened over time that is more is because we are so much focused on development, so much that we are flaring, we are disposing and so on and so forth, and we are not considering that what are going to be the consequences later on. But if we're thinking about flaring or developing, and we're also thinking about solutions to combat it or to live with it, right, alongside, like concurrently, then there is a way we'll be able to function effectively. So that's, and now another thing that I suggested, I said in the class, I said that can we also see people in sciences? I know I'm not going to be the one, or maybe I'm limiting myself, but of course my background does not offer me that. Can we also get people in sciences or engineering that will come up with solutions about how we can flare gas and it will reduce too much greenhouse gases? Like that's another innovative area that we can look into. Is there a way we can flare gases that it will not bring about so much fossil fuels? Do you know that, like so much gases rather, it's not bring about so much gases that it will pollute our environment? It's possible. Because now we have electric cars, right? They are not emitting CO2. Do you understand? So these are like the ways we need to start thinking about it. And with the advent of technology, we can also help in stabilizing the ecosystem.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
Uh,
Thank you. Okay, I mean, if Oluwa starts or
Yeah, the second part of the question. So just quickly, thank you so much for your first response. It's kind of shed more light on how to balance. The second part of my question is now, because climate change is not just a localized issue, it's global. And then you brought up carbon credits. But with the thing with carbon credits, or what the concerns with carbon credits, it was that the pollution was still happening. People were just, or wealthier nations were just still doing the pollution, but just buying credit. So it was like basic buying credit for basically that was it. So my second question is the balance in more developed countries can be held accountable. Let's say in Africa that we're trying. I know there are initiatives all around the world for climate change, but still balance how people can be held accountable equally so that problems are actually solved, not just covered up. Things are basically, yeah, I think that's it. The balance
So
with,
I get your question. That is
yeah,
what our climate negotiators are supposed to be doing for us at all those conventions. That, like, my simple answer to that, as it, that's what they are supposed to be doing for us. Like anyone that is a climate negotiator or any policy maker, all those conventions, all those COP 29, COP 30, wherever, any climate related conferences that bring together all those member states, that is what they are supposed to be calling for. And to be fair enough, some organizations are doing that, like Greenpeace, Greenpeace International. Greenpeace has their different region, Africa and everything. You go to their social media platforms, they are always calling out. They're always calling out, always calling out. I like them so much for that. In fact, during the last year COP, COP that happened, I followed them very well. And they were like countering some of the things that they were saying, like, oh, our global leaders are doing. In fact, recently someone even posted that, oh, it's interesting that you're trying to solve one problem and people in other countries are actually having war. All this war, all this nuclear emissions too is still contributing to these issues. So do you understand? So people that are actually, in case you're also looking at doing that, it is a career path, like climate negotiation. That's what those people are supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be negotiating that, no, you people cannot be flaring, and you'll not be held accountable compared to us that we are. Do you understand? Like, you can fight for that. So I think that's the answer that I will give to that. That's their role, basically, actually.
thank you so much. That's all from me. Thank you.
Welcome.
oh, great. That's good. Thank you, Opeyemi. I mean, Sekinat, your hand was raised. Is that a legacy hand or it was by mistake?
Yeah, thank you so much. And at some point, I'm trying to fit in the balance with the questions we're having. I just have a few things just to contribute to what our facilitator is saying. So thank you so much for taking us all through. I could remember when I started climate change in 2017, 2018, we were taken to the state CIDs that were cultists. And now climate change is just an oil money. Everybody wants to go into that. But then it's quite interesting that we're having this conversation. Just on a quick one, I want to say for the conversation around carbon credit, it's a whole lot of conversations because I could remember in Dubai, when we had the COP28, it was a whole lot of conversations with Africans and other developed countries and the hypocrisy around climate change. So the whole governance of climate change, it's quite very dicey. And it's dicey because these guys are there. And before now, the conversation around carbon credit is, we're going to give you money, but you cannot develop some certain things. So we already developed. We have the machineries. We have everything. We come and take up your raw materials. We take it there, we develop, and we bring it back. And Africans were not ready to do that because we hold have the natural resources here. And we want to develop because if you look at our own for Nigeria, crude oil is what drives our economy. So if we said we should stop flying our gas, we should stop producing crude oil, how best do we sustain our own economy? And that's why I think for COP, it was a kind of a mindset change for Africans, whereby Nigeria, and especially for Nigeria, which said that we're not going to just shut down. If we want a carbon credit, every country needs to set up their own conditions and what they want to do. And for us as Nigeria, because I'm opportune to be part of the negotiation meeting for Nigeria, there are critical things that Nigeria is actually working around. We have the mitigation agenda, we have the adaptation agenda, we have the Article 6. We talk about a whole lot of conversations, then we have the just transition. So for us as a country in Nigeria, we're saying that we're not going to face down, because countries are saying that you are having the fossil fuel face down. So the conversation is Nigeria, we are not facing down, but we are not facing down, but we're facing off. It means that we are transiting, and our own transition fuel is actually to gas. So we are transiting from fossil fuel like this petroleum to gas, because we have the abundance of gas. So for every country in Africa, before you can say you want to stop doing this, you must look at the whole economy. And for us as Nigeria, we can't just say that because developed countries are saying this is what we want to align to them. We must look into the environmental impact, the social impact, the economic impact for our country, and see how best we want to join, or we want to do, or we want to be part of the negotiation. It's a negotiation thing. And I appreciate when Opeyemi was saying that it's a career thing that negotiations have to go. And currently, I think Nigeria is having training for negotiators, so that we go there with informed decision. We go there with one mindset. And the transition for US leaving the UN global body and leaving the climate change convention, it's actually a whole lot of conversation. So funding has now shifted now. Before, there's always a pool of funding at the global level. Now funding has changed. And funding are now moving to continental. And that's why Africans are now coming together and say, let's see how we can fund our thing, so that we can take our own leadership. We can begin to say, this is what we want to do. Until we do that, the global and the developed nations, we continue to determine what will drive us. And they will continue to come and take our natural resources and go there, develop it, and bring it back to us. So it means we're always at the losing end. And that's the overall conversation. I just want to bring all of us.
Thank you for sharing, Zeknas. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate this.
It's a brilliant conversation.
Thank you.
This is good. This is good. There's a lot of learning going on here. I mean, if you're not here, you
Thank you.
miss it. Yeah. Thank you, Sekinat, for saying all of that. I'm sure that you all are as excited as I am. Before we say goodbye to every one of us, and of course, our facilitator, we want to take a quick photograph. Let it be in the records that our facilitator was here today. Yes, please, everyone, turn on your camera so we can take a quick photograph. Ini, please kindly help us. Are you there? Yeah, I recognize Glory. Glory, how was your birthday? You did not give us cake. Maybe we should have sort of a climate-friendly cake. This is climate we're discussing. Ini, are you there? I want to confirm Ini is ready. So
I don't think cake is climate friendly at this point.
Who says so?
Just give us like that. Just give us the cake like that. Hello, Ini. Okay, so I would maybe I could say that as how. Yes, so as how, Glory. What's that?
No, we need water. We need water because we have a sort of heat wave now. So we need water to be
there are plant-based. There are plant-based one. So you go for that one. Gluten free.
Oh, do you see? You will not escape this. Do not worry. Thank God there are experts in the room. Thank you so much, Glory. Thank you so much, Opeyemi, and thank you, everyone. So, the thing is that we're going to come back to you, Opeyemi, because we need to get questions for this session. So, we're going to also sort of group you. But that will be later. When we have the question, we'll group you because it's going to be a practical question, so you can meet to take do the tasks together. Yes, that will be sort of next step. Yes, and then we're also going to share the slides with you. Also, for the fellows, we're going to After this session, yes, we're going to be doing the nomination for the rep, assistant rep, and of course a PRO. These are the 3 positions we think are necessary. If you think any other one is necessary, you might just want to drop it on the group. After the nomination, I'm thinking you all will have to suggest to we meet on Saturday. There's no class on Saturday. I'm thinking we meet to now do the election proper. So what do you say? How do you think we should do this? What do you think is the best way to conduct this so that it's free and fair?
Okay, can I leave now, please?
Yeah, sure, please. I mean, you can.
Okay.
Sorry, my apologies.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much for
Thank
coming.
you.